In all candor, I think that it would be a good thing to have because, in fact, if we want to have Lane County as a leader, we should, as part of what I proposed in terms of a stewardship logging approach, that would only let stewardship logging awards on Lane County owner-controlled property. That will keep part of that sequestered carbon. In addition to that, and above and beyond that, should we not be part of the Western States Initiative? Because they're talking about that as we speak. Could we not parlay that into perhaps one of the strategic, targeted hope zones that President Obama is talking about? There are initially 5: Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Choctaw Nation, a couple other places. But altogether there are 20. Let's, as a county commission, start the process by which we will be the next hope zone that may talk about carbon. Thank you.
Kevin? Lane County is not ready for a carbon tax. Carbon tax is going to be a good thing for the global environment, but Lane County spends about $1 billion a year on fossil fuels. We don't make any fossil fuels in Lane County, so that's all money going out of our local system. If we have a carbon tax on top of that, hitting fossil fuels, we're going to be paying even more. We currently are not in a good position to do anything about it. Why is that? We have no county climate plan. Why don't we have a county climate plan? During a couple of years when we had a progressive majority on the county commission, I worked with the commissioners. I actually was a pro bono consultant and sat at the board and answered questions as an expert consultant of the county, trying to figure out the tiniest baby step by which the county could start to move in the direction of doing climate change planning. We worked on it for 9 months. We met objections. It was going to cost less than $3,000. Commissioner Stewart helped vote that down. Jack?
Well, as I said before, I believe in less regulation, not more. And I think a carbon tax is essentially opening a Pandora's box, because it's a little carbon tax here, and then eventually you're polluting the world, but I'm paying the tax, so it's okay. And I don't think that's right. If you're polluting the environment, you need to take your industry and say, move it up the valley where industrialization isn't going to affect where we live. Possibly shut it down. Save the area. This tax, I see, is only going to be affecting the people with wood stoves, perhaps. It's not something that's going to benefit the little people, because where is this carbon tax going to go? It's going to go into the coffers, and it's going to be spent on things that we really have no control over. It's just going to allow people that are rich to do whatever they want.
Joanne?
I've been in favor of a carbon tax for years. While on the UF board, I pushed for a carbon tax every year at the legislative level. In the energy field, it would give a level playing field to renewable energy. What would happen is the fossil fuels that are subsidized from the government would eventually have to pay their fair share. And then renewables would be able to come online a lot faster. We'd see more PV, wind, and small hydro. One thing we probably would see less of is biomass plants when they had to pay their fair share of cutting down trees in order to burn them for power only.
Faye?
Thank you. I'm not super familiar with the effort on the research for the carbon tax. But what I have heard is that presently they're looking at it, and they believe that the analysis shows that it could potentially generate about $1 billion a year for the state. Is that going to be good for Lane County? I'm not sure, because I don't know exactly how it's going to be implemented. I don't know if it's going to offset, if they're going to reduce income taxes. But I do know that at this point in time right now, with our economy eking forward and trying to recover, to try to extract another $1 billion from our local Oregon residents, whether it's through the carbon tax, increasing the hauling of our produce, and increasing, the bottom line is that when we start to extract more dollars from people, we citizens end up paying more. And right now, it's difficult to understand if this carbon tax is going to relieve other taxes, it's going to be neutral, if it's more representative. There's a lot of questions. So at this point, I would need a lot more information before I can say it's going to be good for Lane County.
That concludes the second set of questions and responses. As we move on to the final event, which will be the closing statements. And Joanne, you're first. These are 2-minute statements.
I'd like to thank the Blackberry